Hello, here we are. We're live in Riverside Park. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We're here with the geese and the little baby goslings that are running around. So if a goose fight breaks out in the middle, hey, that's going live. So I'm here with Lisa Watson, and we just wanted to drop a little line about our Costa Rica Retreat coming up in 2019. So we still have 3 rooms available if you want to join us. And I wanted to talk to Lisa a little bit about what she does in energy medicine healing. Mm-hmm. So I wanted to ask you, how did you get into energy medicine healing?
Okay.
What brought you into that type of work?
So I started off in yoga. So I started off taking my yoga teacher training, and during my yoga teacher training, I heard the word chakras. And right away that got my attention because, I come from a background of doing personal training and working with the physical body. Mm-hmm. But when I got into yoga, I realized that it's way more, it's about way more than just the physical. Mm. So it's about connecting your mind, your body, and your soul. And the chakras are a way to be able to connect all of that. So basically, you get to learn about all of your developmental energies, all the developmental stages along your life and how they're affected. Mm-hmm. And so I needed to know more about that. And so after getting to know a little bit about the chakras, doing a little bit more studying, and I'm in the program right now to become a chakra therapist actually. And I started to look a little bit deeper and just to kind of find out more education around how I can enhance my chakra therapy. And then I learned about energy medicine, and actually it was from a friend who kind of pointed me in that direction. I thought, energy medicine, okay, well that sounds even more interesting. So then I realized that energy is everything, and so all of these modalities, they all kind of weave into one another, right? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so cool. Mm-hmm. So you're going to be offering energy medicine healing at our Costa Rica retreat. So maybe just tell us a word about what that is. What is it?
So what I've done is I've combined 3 different modalities. I've combined the chakras, and again, this is all kind of the same thing. It's all just energy. Mm-hmm. So I've combined the chakras, the 5 elements of Chinese medicine, and yoga. And the chakras are, like I said, developmental. So if you think about from birth, we have these different energy centers throughout our bodies that collect, assimilate, and express information. And so we need to make sure as we grow up, our parents actually need to make sure as we grow up, that all of these energy centers have like good conditions, good environment to develop in. Otherwise things can go wrong, and they later on affect us later on in life. The 5 elements of Chinese medicine, again, are just energies, and they kind of align with the chakras. So they're, we have those 5 main energy centers. Each one moves in a different way. And with the 5 elements, we're actually born with a certain type of energy. We have a certain way in which we need to move. And the chakras, once we come into contact with the environment, that kind of changes us. So it literally shapes us. Mm-hmm. Yoga gives us an opportunity to pull it all together and to feel what it feels like in our body, and to manipulate and understand and work with these energies. So it's just a really good environment to just bring it all together and heal.
Mm-hmm.
So
nice. I'm checking to make sure that we don't have any
I know.
geese sneaking up on us.
I know, they're so cute.
So what is different about the way that you deliver energy medicine? You mentioned that you weave it in with the 5 elements. And
well, I like to use a lot of metaphors and a lot of analogies, and so I'm going to use like the analogy of spring, just because we're in spring and you can kind of feel that. If you think about let's say, for example, you were having an issue, right? I could support you. I could give you support and talk to you and hold you up. The same way as if we have a tree in our backyard that's falling over, we could hold it up by tying it to a house, but that's not going to keep it there for very long. I mean, we have to continue holding it up. Or we can dig down at the root and find out what is the conditions that are creating it to fall over. Does it have a steady ground? Are the roots secure? Is the core not being nourished? We're the same way. We need to have that support and that nourishment and a strong core in order to be able to grow. So I use that analogy, and every single problem, every single issue, every single thing that is wrong with us starts off with an effect from our environment. We all start out as a healthy seed. We all start out as a healthy egg, and at conception, and then all of a sudden the environment gets a hold of us and it changes things altogether. First we have the environment that we react to, our brain says, ooh, there's something wrong. It sends us an impulse through discomfort or whatever that says, this doesn't feel good. If we do not change our environment, or if we're a child and we don't have a choice, then our body says, okay, well, I'm going to protect you. And so it starts to develop like this armor. And it can show up as, stress in the body, like we hold, or it could show up as a hearing disability or a seeing disability, because we don't want to hear what we're hearing or see what we're seeing. Mm-hmm. Or even worse, we become numb, because if we're physically abused, we don't want to feel that. Our bodies, we can't just remove ourselves as children. All we can do is become numb and not feel it. And so these are the coping strategies that our bodies, our intelligent little machines, create for us. And from there, we grow up with these same coping strategies. We grow up because it worked for us, right? And so we grow up, and all of a sudden we find ourselves as 40-year-old business people throwing temper tantrums, running away, becoming numb in our relationships and not being able to feel, when we're communicating. We can't cope. We can't find our way because we're still working on these old programs. We are like computers. So we've got, our body is like our hardware, our mind is our operating system, and we've got all these programs that are like out of date that we're operating from.
We need to upgrade
and debug. Yeah. So that's kind of how that works with what I plan on doing
I love
that. At our retreat.
That's so fascinating because we do sometimes operate just on autopilot based on what our life experiences, how they've formed us, and sometimes we can see that happening, but we don't know how to shift it.
Right. It's true.
So in a group setting, I know you work one-on-one with people, but in a group setting, say on retreat, what does that look like, and what can that do for people in a retreat setting? Everybody is going to show up.
Now, first of all, I wanted to say, this retreat, it's not going to be, everybody's going to be on their own journey, right? We're not going to all be there in a therapy session or anything like that. This is still a vacation, and we're all going to come with our own stuff. The nice thing is that we're all like-minded. We all come there on the same mission. We all have a same purpose, is that we're there to remove ourselves from our everyday lives, to be able to just disconnect from that. And like I said, in order to grow or to evolve, we need to get grounded. And in order to do that, we need to remove ourselves from what's happening, right? So we get into that environment, and then we can start to just really delve in and see what's happening. We get to recognize, what's happening within ourselves, to discover where our blocks are. So each day we work in a different chakra, on a different energy center, and we use some techniques to kind of discover, okay, what am I doing in life? What are some of my environmental issues? What are some of my coping strategies? And then we work through those, and then we develop some techniques to kind of overcome and repattern. And that's the key word here, is to repattern, right? Our energies.
What are some special techniques that you use?
We're going to use different things like, let's see here. First of all, goal setting. So setting an intention is first and foremost. We always have to start with we have to be willing to make those changes. In energy medicine, first of all, in our chakras, we have to remove the beliefs. So what are the beliefs that we've been programmed to know? How are we reacting to them? And then we think about, okay, well, what are some different ways that we can react? And we've got so many different things without getting into all of it. But I also use other things that I'm going to be showing in the one-on-one workshop that we'll be doing. So we'll be using things like neurovasculars, neurolymphatics, different emotional response techniques to reprogram the way that the mind responds to the body. So those physiological stress responses. We'll use techniques to make space in the body by using the neurolymphatics. We'll be using different ways to connect the energies, and basically just find harmony and balance within us, within ourselves. Energy coaching is sort of what I do on one-on-one, and so all of these techniques are things that I do one-on-one, but you can also bring them out into a group environment and really delve into it quite deep. I want to use the expression of spring. So there's 5 elements, and each one has a different energy. So you've got your fire, which is inspirational. You've got your earth, which is really grounding. Your metal, which is really black or white, but kind of rigid, and it's kind of holds energy in. Your water, which goes with the flow. And these are all characteristics of not just the elements, but of us people as well. Water likes to go with the flow. It's a little bit more creative and slow moving. And then wood is the energy of spring. And the energy of spring is very expressive. It's upward moving. And so in order to do that, it has to have strong roots and a solid ground. If we had an earthquake right now, do you think that you would be thinking about your purpose or a relationship or, what you're going to, do tomorrow? No, you'd be thinking about, oh my God, I got to save myself. So we've got to make sure that our ground is stable before we can move upward. We take the energy of spring, for example, and we look at the way that there's two different organs that are attached to that element, gallbladder and liver, and then there's also a group of muscles. We take a look at the way that gallbladder and liver, for example, they have different functions. So gallbladder is responsible for making lots of decisions. It also breaks down large amounts of fat, and liver has more functions than any other organ in the body. So you think about it, those need to make big decisions for us. It needs to filter our system. It needs to make sure that we've got purification. And if we have too many decisions in our life or too many big things to overwhelm us, or if we're not detoxifying our environment through people, through foods and all of those things, physically our organs will become very toxic, but also we become toxic. So just like these organs need to do these functions within us, we need to take those same functions outside of us and work those as well. So that's kind of how we compare the different energies. So the energy of spring is within all of us. It's within everything. And we need to be moving in that direction in order to be not resisting everything all the time. So if you're stuck, if you're anxious, if you're stuck in your job, your relationships, it's a good chance that you're not going with that flow. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that really
I know
does.
It's a lot, but the thing is that I had so much I wanted to say, but at the same time, I don't want to overwhelm anybody. I want you to know that when we're in this environment, we're really going to chip away at it. We're really going to just break it down, and everybody's going to have their own thing, their own issues to deal with, and we're going to be able to do that individually, but yet collectively. And I think it's going to be really amazing.
I'm looking forward to it. So you have so much knowledge, and I'm really excited to share the information with people that you have.
Yeah, thank you.
I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I want to ask you before we let them go. Is there anything that I didn't ask you that you want to share before we sign off?
I think we got it all. I think that's pretty much it. Basically at the end of the day, we want to find our rhythm. We want to just be able to live harmoniously with the way that everything is moving. And this retreat is just going to be a really great way to just remove ourselves from our external world, from the external craziness. I know that every year I go to Bali, my husband and I go to Bali, and that's exactly what we do is we disconnect and we go and we refocus, and when we come back, it's just like everything just becomes clear again. You get rid of that clutter, you get rid of those old patterns, you get to change your life a little bit for a while, and then come back and start over and go, okay, I got it now. Let's start over and figure out where we need to go.
Yeah, because when you take yourself out of daily life, then you get this perspective, like sort of the bird's eye view, looking in, and you can see what you want to change and what you want to keep and how you want to move forward.
Yeah, and it's different from a regular vacation, because sometimes we go on these regular vacations and we need a vacation to recover from the vacation, right? This is going to be a nice balance of a little bit of everything, of relaxation, rejuvenation, and healing all at the same time. And it's going to be very, what do you call it? Discretionary. You get to kind of do what you want to do and take the pieces that you want to take from it and make it your own.
Yeah, so we're not going to fill your days with classroom hours, you'll have a lot of time to do what you need to do to unfold your own healing adventure. So
a lot of fun for sure.
Thanks, Lisa.
Thank you, Angie. That was great. So stay tuned for the next videos. We're going to be interviewing Angie next time. So yeah,
maybe we'll do it on our paddle boards.
Oh yes, I think so. That would be great.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you guys. I know we didn't acknowledge everybody, but we will definitely make some comments after we are done here. I don't have my glasses. I can't really see.
I don't have my glasses on either. I'm like, there's people there. I don't know who they are.
But hello to all of you. Thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate that. And I hope you found all of this really informative and hopefully answered some of your questions if you're kind of on the fence on coming to our retreat. And
feel free to reach out and ask any questions. I know I've got a few people in conversations looking at it. And so if you have any questions, feel free to fire them at us, and we'll be happy to fill in the blanks for you. So Right.
Great. Thanks a lot.
How do you push stop? How do
I
you
don't
stop
know.
this thing?
That for now. Still going.
Finish.
Finish. There we go.
Bye.